afternoon. I appreciate that always. You're out there busy working wherever you might be. That was loud and weird. All of a sudden in my head. Don't know what happened there. You didn't hear it?
Oh, I heard it.
Yeah, it was out there. Who knows what's going on? The gremlins are in the system early. I don't care. It's too beautiful out to get into any kind of a interaction with those bastards. Let's get straight to it's going to be great. We get to hear from what will likely be Florida State starting quarterback this year, where the expectations are very, very high. And the buzz from a 13-0 season did not get, I don't think, quelled by what happened in that exhibition game. People treated it as such. Were saddened by what it rendered that game to be, but the overall momentum of the program, I don't think, was slowed down in any way. And then it was only bolstered by the fact that Florida State went and filled a lot of needs. Let's go back and lead up to this point. We're about to hear the audio from DJ here in a second. But, you know, you think about the end of the year. It's been well-traveled road. And what happened with the injuries and the way that Florida State was limited in a lot of ways, not just not getting the opportunity to play in the college football invitational, but also because their offense couldn't be their offense at the end of the year, and they had so many guys get hurt, and they overcame all those things, and they just kept finding ways to win games in the conference championship and put on a performance for the ages defensively in that game. Because they were able to do that, I think it carried over. And then the thought was kind of like, well, all right, we've got to get back to reality. We're not going to be the same program. We're going to have to, let's see how the young guys do. Let's see how the next man up approach works, because I don't think we're going to have a huge influx of transfer portal players. The thought was, and I can tell you that the mindset was, I don't mind saying this, that, all right, look, you've done a good job of raising the talent floor, and you got some guys ready to step in. Use Brock Glenn as a perfect example. Like, okay, well, he's going to have to go through this season, and hopefully by the end of it, we'll like what we see. We feel good about the talent and the toughness, but, you know, there's going to be some bumps in the road. It always happens. And then all of a sudden, that position, there was a bridge brought in. Uyunglele comes in, and you get excited because of how much football he's played, and you realize the potential with the numbers, the size, and you think, okay, well, that's kind of interesting. All right, so we got a bridge quarterback, and then you know at the same time you have all those Alabama kids come in, and you fill positions of need with experience. You get your best recruiting class under Mike Norvell. That's not to say that there weren't mistakes made or frustrations. There are. Florida State should have capitalized more, in my opinion, on a 13-0 season. They should have done better with high school recruiting. They lose out on the 5-star kids still, and they're going to have to do better there. But they do enough to have his best class, and the trend upward continues. But one by one, as you listen to those interviews with the newer players and all the newcomers in general, and you hear the way they talk about the program and their perceptions of it, you can't help, again, to be excited about what's going to happen, at the very least, right around the corner in spring football, because there's a lot of unknowns in terms of how guys will fit. Even if they're players that you've seen elsewhere, how will Florida State use them? How will Florida State, at competition? We're going to see a lot of intense competition in the spring. That's good for any program. That's good, period. You want competition at all times. Brings out the best in everybody. Then your head coach is downright giddy about the group, and he's talked about that most recently in Orlando, but whenever he's had an opportunity, he's talked about it. So it's exciting. And then today, finally, it kind of culminates with we get to hear from DJ, and I wanted to lead with that today because I think that, honestly, how he plays will go a long way in whether or not you're on the over side of 9.5, which yesterday, Tom, we found out is the number for Florida State at FanDuel. 9.5, that'll, I think, pretty much be across the board. It'll be 9.5. Interesting that in the ACC, you have 3 teams at 9.5. Clemson, Florida State, and Miami. Boy, those are really high expectations for Miami, a program who annually disappoints in a way that is profound to that fan base. They must be on eggshells because every year they say it's our time, we're back, and it just never happens, and it 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 never happens. And at some point, they're like, well, is it ever going to happen? I was young when I told people, Steve, that we'd be back, and I'm 52 and we suck still. It's been never happening. I don't believe it's going to happen. But that's them. We'll let them worry about the never happening part. We just went 13-0. And prior to that, won 10 games. It's always happening around here. So that's the good news. And let's see if we can continue it and improve upon and not have to take a step back at all. With that as the backdrop, let's hear from DJ earlier today. I like the order of this. Tom, we really quick, hope you're doing well, buddy.
I'm doing well. My favorite comment in a long time is Chris, who says he thought he was caught in a time loop.
So do they.
So does Miami. Does Miami, yes.
So the order of things, if I'm to see this correctly, I think we wanted to talk a little bit about him sitting down and talking with Mike Norvell and the way that Mike Norvell kind of vetted him, Norvell, and the program. We know that DJ also talked to Jordan Travis, so you're going to hear a clip about that as well. And then we're going to get the assessment of DJ's game and from his own lips, what he thinks about his strengths and what he brings to the table as a quarterback. I'm excited. This is good stuff.
Yeah, what sets the stage for the first clip is that Mike Norvell, the way he recruited DJU when he was on campus, and as you recall, that interview when he left Moore, he seemed pretty pumped about what Florida State was. And the tactic was Mike Norvell came prepared with 3 games of DJU's film that he wanted to go over with DJ in the room, mano a mano, offensive mind, quarterback. Let's see how we look here. And that's something that you don't really hear about, but in the transfer portal days, I guess that would be more routine. It's not something you would do with a high school quarterback and say, all right, I don't care about anything else, and you don't care about anything else. Let's get to the film. But when you have somebody who's been around at 2 different programs, this is his last stop. Mike got down to business when DJU arrived on campus.
Good stuff. And with that, let's listen. Here's DJU.
I've been through the fluff of recruiting. Like, that stuff doesn't really matter to me anymore. Like, for me, I don't really care what the facilities look like. Like, all I just need is a football, and that's about it. And some shoulder pads and a helmet, I'll be good to go, and a playbook. So for him to be able to sit down with me and watch 3 games of everything, have his thoughts about how I played, things where I can get better at, things I did well, and be able to talk to him, asking him, like, hey, how would you do this? Or, like, what is this play? Would you run this in the offense? Or what do you guys think about this? Or he would ask me, like, what was your read here? How do you guys see the defense, or how you guys read this play? Something similar in their offense. It was cool because for me, man, that's all I want to do. I want to continue to keep getting better as a quarterback, continue to learn. And Coach Norvell, he's an extremely smart coach. And for me, that was a big reason why I wanted to be here. I wanted to learn from him and to be able to get developed under him.
Good stuff, man. I love it. I think Mike Norvell's got to be giddy to hear his response and the way that he responded to that, in a way, challenge of sitting there and picking apart who you are, what you are as a quarterback, and what he's going to challenge you to be. And that's been the big success, I think the kernel of success they can dangle out there to transfer portal players is, hey, man, you may have been good wherever you were. You may have been wanted by everybody where you're coming from. And once you announced that you were going into the portal, but I'm not here to kiss the ring. I'm here to tell you, here's what you can do a lot better. I'm going to make you better. I'm going to challenge you. I'm going to force you to take the next step, either as a leader, if that's what you need, or as a player physically. The things you could get more out of your overall talents, we'll refine that and get the most out of you. Whatever it might be, we're going to elevate it. And players have responded to that time and again, so much so that that's the reputation. And now people knock on the door and you've got to turn people away. You have a greater selection of talent to choose from in the portal. You know, This isn't always, and in many ways you can point to failures in the transfer portal around the country. For those that have tried to go in as hard as Florida State has and maybe not had the same kind of success. And I think at the core of why Florida State does have success is that they haven't been kiss ass in this process. It has been about the challenge. It has been about the focus of getting better and not, hey, please, please, please come here. We need you. That's not what they do at all, at all. And they really haven't, even when they should have been, please, please, please come here. We really need you. Going back to when we were a 5-7 team and you desperately needed to raise the floor of talent, Mike wasn't about that. He wasn't going to go out there and be like, well, you're better than anything I got. So if you want to come here, there's a place for you. That's not how they did it. It was like, no, we're not going to cut corners. Obviously, I'm on the phone with you. I care about upgrading my roster. If you couldn't play, we wouldn't be talking. But that's not what this is. There's a mutual interest here. Now, let's talk about what we both can get out of this and how it's going to work. I like it. Next, he talked to Jordan Travis, and that's a good idea because Jordan Travis was here playing quarterback for Mike Norvell for a long time.
I got to talk to him before I took my official visit. I talked to him 2 days beforehand. I just had a couple questions I wanted to ask him because for the most part, I knew a couple players that played here. I knew Micah, I knew Johnny, I knew AJ, and just a couple other guys playing against him. I kind of had my thoughts on what I knew about Florida State, about the coaching staff, but obviously I want to ask Jordan because he played in this offense for some time now, and he was right there in the thick of it with Coach Norvell and Coach Tokart. So I wanted to ask him a couple questions about the program, how are they as coaches, off the field, how are they as men, and he had nothing but great things to say. And that comes from your starting quarterback for a couple years now. I mean, that's all you need to hear. So when I heard that, kind of proved all my points that I had, thought about Coach Norvell and all the other coaches here, and kind of just like, well, that just solidified it then. There's no one else I really need to talk to.
It's cool. I think that if you're in an interview setting and you're Jordan Travis or a current player on the roster at any point over the last several years and you're being interviewed and a question comes up about your head coach or a question comes up about scheme, let's say, or other teammates, unless you're a complete dolt, you're always going to say nice things. You're certainly not going to say things that would ruin the reputation of your coach, create an environment of friction for yourself. You're going to say what you think the reporter probably wants to hear and allows you to get to the next question and that much sooner get out the door. You're not going to bring up some of the foibles of what a player is or what a coach is or what the system does or doesn't do. Where you're apt to tell the truth, I think, are on these visits. If you're a recruit coming to town and there's a kid who's hosting you and there are things about the position group that he likes and doesn't like, and the coaching staff that he likes and doesn't like, or what it's like to live here, or any of the things that somebody might ask visiting a program that they were vetting as to whether or not they wanted to bank their future on. And in attending. And those kinds of questions, because players are real with players, and they'll say to a guy, hey, listen, let me tell you, there's a lot of good things here. Heads up, so-and-so can be a bit of an ass on a daily basis, and it can be tough dealing with him. When they recruited me, I kind of thought it was going to be this way. It turned out to be that way. Some of that was good. Some of that was bad, and everything in between. So why am I bringing that up? Well, based on his body language, based on the enthusiasm in his voice, based on what we know Jordan Travis to be, who he was when he arrived, who he was when he left, the maturation process, the way that he improved in a way that I've never seen a quarterback improve. Jordan Travis went from not good, period, to very good. And it's pretty rare. I'm not saying development doesn't happen for players, but when you're lacking certain things as a quarterback and we just don't see it, you're devoid of it. And some of those things are accuracy or your ability to pre-snap, read a defense, the kinds of things that are on the check mark list of quarterback evaluations, to suddenly not only being able to do those things, but do them exceptionally well, to you become one of the best college quarterbacks in the nation, then you know that the process has worked, the development has worked, the assessment, the evaluation, And it's neat to hear Jordan Travis then behind the scenes, according to DJ, where I think an honest conversation would happen. Jordan Travis rave reviews about what it means to play in this offense, what it means to play for Mike Norvell, what it's like to be here at Florida State at the position that has the greatest spotlight upon it and the most amount of pressure and the intensity of all of that, right? You're in a fishbowl. Jordan Travis's opinion after all this time through many ups and downs is that Mike Norvell is great to play for. The offense is fun to run, etc. Final part, DJ assessing his game, evaluations from DJ Uiagalelei about what kind of quarterback he is.
I feel like I bring great leadership. I bring like a dog mentality, come out here ready to work. And then on the field, man, I feel like I really do. I feel like I push the ball down the field really well. It's something I want to do. Throw the rock. I feel like I can create plays inside the pocket, whether that's getting out or making people miss inside the pocket and making the throws down the field. Not scared of contact. I don't shy away from contact at all. There's a lot of stuff I want to continue to get working on. Am I perfect? No, not from it, far from it. But each and every day I want to get on the field. I want to strive to be able to be perfect in each and way I work, from the times of just being in tour duty, the times of lifting, and then just throwing receivers and being up on the board. There's a lot of things I want to continue to work on: footwork, different stuff, accuracy, pushing the ball down the field. I feel like for me, there's not just one thing I'm working on right now. I feel like my whole game I want to continue to get better at.
Let me tell you why that's important. My assessment of DJ at Clemson was that he did not run like a man. He did not run like somebody who likes contact. He did not run like somebody who's 250 plus pounds. He did not run like a player who understood that he had an advantage at that height, that size. Now, I don't want anybody to mistake this. He's not a burner. The kind of runner I'm talking about with DJ is much more methodical. He doesn't have he's certainly not going to have Jordan Travis's speed. Very few people do. But when you're that big and that strong, you should never be hesitant to get after it in the run game. You have an advantage. God forbid some poor bastard in the secondary has to come up and tackle you. You got to lay the wood. You got to be a guy who punishes people for coming up to tackle you. It's like when you watch a big man in basketball who refuses to play big. It'll drive you nuts. And I didn't think DJ, my personal assessment at Clemson, was he was not a willing runner. He did not want to run. There were opportunities for that young man to dominate people, to truck somebody, and he wouldn't do it. He wouldn't do it. Somewhere in his maturation, in his growth as a quarterback, and his understanding of the position, he would take on that role later on. You can find runs from Oregon State where he's taking punishment, delivering punishment, staying on his feet, fighting for the extra yard. You didn't see a lot of it at Clemson. So he's gotten better. He's gotten to a place where he has a greater wherewithal of that advantage. We already know he possesses the big arm down the field. He's got to get better and more accurate in a lot of other areas. I like that he's honest about that, understands it, and wants to do it. I like that he talks about openly he's willing to run. Yes, that's music to my ears. You guys guessed that. Everything about that today was good. It's just an interview. Just an interview. He's got to go play football. But he didn't lose that interview. He certainly won in all the right ways. And he also took a snapshot of the behind-the-scenes process of how it is Florida State recruits transfer portal players and their potential. It's great. It's continues to be consistent and worth getting into the details about. It's why they continue to win in the portal. It's the Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
The Sensation Salad is so much more than a plain old salad. It's a salad, which begs the question, at what point does a salad stop being a salad and become a salad? Is it when you add Zaxby's fried chicken to it? Crunchy wontons? Asian slaw? Citrus vinaigrette? Teriyaki glaze? Sweet and spicy sauce? Or is it when you top it all with a handmade perfectly fried egg roll? Without a doubt, the egg roll. The Sensation Salad, only at Zaxby's.
Hello, I'm Dana Brooks.
And I'm Jimmy Basic of Basic Brooks Law Offices.
Traffic cameras are everywhere these days.
And Basic Brooks is partnered with RoadProof to get access to all their vast network of cameras.
This is a valuable tool to help us search for evidence that could help you if you were involved in an accident.
If you've been hurt in an accident, call Basic Brooks and we'll find out if the proof you need is out there.
Call Basic Brooks and we'll do everything we can to help you come back stronger.
Call us now at 850-777-7777.
I'm Franklin, and I've been a Paul's Termite technician for well over 10 years. Working for a great company like Paul's Termite and Pest Control is a blessing for my family and myself. I get tremendous satisfaction knowing that the work I do helps protect most people's biggest investment, their homes, the place where they raise their families and build lifelong relationships. Paul's is a company that stands behind their commitments to customers and employees, and that makes me proud to represent them.
I'm Jay. Having the privilege to work with people like Franklin and all of our employees is truly an honor. There is no doubt that the staff of Paul's Termite and Pest Control is the best in our industry. All of our people are local, and local really does mean something. We're North Floridians. Our kids go to school here. We shop here. We build relationships here, and we honor our commitments. To all of our customers, thanks for trusting us to protect your family, pets, and home.
For the elimination of termites, any other pests, and a greener lawn too, call Paul's. We'll get them all.
Services, conferences to call away. 222-7722. AC and electric is what we do. Service, repairs, and installation too. 222-7722. Parker Services, conferences to call away.
Invest in a Peak Performance membership and you'll buy peace of mind in knowing that you're extending the life of your system and probably saving money on your power bill too. The program includes comprehensive tune-ups that keep your system running at its maximum efficiency. And Peak Performance members get many benefits, including priority service. Members jump to the front of the line when their comfort system fails. And a 15% discount on all parts. The Peak Performance membership pays for itself over and over again. Call today and have peace of mind. And Parker's is electrical services too.
Parker Services, conferences to call away.
Florida license number CMC 050334.
Hey, no fans, our partner ISF Inc. is a national management and IT consulting firm located right here in Tallahassee, Florida, solving the future for state governments through strategy, process, and technology. As a trusted advisor for state governments, ISF knows the importance of defining a clear and detailed strategy. Our friends at ISF can help your organization create a strategy that sets you on a path to success. ISF, your vision plus our expertise brings your brilliant ideas to life. Visit ISF.com to learn more. ISF, solving the future. We all want more energy, more strength, more results. Well, welcome to Orange Theory Fitness as you take a step towards feeling more alive today. Backed by science, Orange Theory's heart rate monitored workout is scientifically designed to keep heart rates in a target zone, spiking metabolism and increasing energy. Orange Theory Fitness is a one-of-a-kind group personal training workout resulting in more energy, visible toning, and extra calorie burn for up to 36 hours. Experience a more vibrant life today with Orange Theory Fitness. To find out more, go to orangetheoryfitness.com.
The Jeff Cameron Show is a production of the Warchant.com Multimedia Network. Check out Warchant.com today for the latest news in
next up. One would think that this is going to be his best season as a college football player. He's played a ton. He's been in big games. He's been in big moments. He's failed. He's succeeded. Everything in between. Played in the East, played in the West. He's traveled. He's done all the things. I mean, he's really, I think, poised to probably have a huge year. Whatever his potential is, I think you've got an opportunity to bring it out of him here. It's a money year. All the factors that weigh into this, right? If he wants to get paid big time and go play professional football, he's got to have a great year. Mike and the team still really hungry after being snubbed, with talent to fall back on, emerging wide receivers. There's a veteran depth to this team to go along with added speed. There's just no reason to think that Florida State can't be really good this year. And I think better than most of us thought when the season ended. And Vegas has it at 9.5. I alluded to that at the top of the show. I'll go over. I'm more bullish than most on Florida State this year. I've said, and I'll repeat it, I think the offense will probably be better than it was a year ago. Some of that is me banking on two things: much better injury luck. Crazy amounts of injuries on one side of the ball last year, unlike any time that I have ever covered this team, every week. And there was things that we couldn't talk about, and it drove me nuts. And you're already stuck between a rock and a hard place when it comes to injuries as a talk show host, because everybody gets hurt playing football. And if you talk about it too much, it sounds like you're making excuses. But they were winning games, so there were no excuses to be made. It was just that the winning margin wasn't always what we wanted it to be, and it wasn't always aesthetically pleasing as it needed to be, given the talent you had. But when you find out somebody was playing at 50%, you can't talk about it. And another guy is playing with a torn this or a pulled that. And another guy who's at a skill position can barely run. And guys are having to get shot up to play in the game, and they're showing you that kind of heart. And you don't want to rip that, but you know it's nothing close to what they're capable of. It's just maddening. So if you avoid, a series of really bizarre and really a piling on effect of injury, if you avoid that and you just have the normal football season, guys are going to get hurt. It is a war of attrition. It is football. It's a violent game played at great speed, and these are big dudes. Somebody's going to get hurt. Got it. But I can't have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 dudes getting hurt on one side of the ball and expect that I'm going to be nearly as efficient. So there's that. And then I think the other part of it is I really believe, and I could be proven wrong. Don't think I will be, but I could be proven wrong. How quickly can that synergy be built between quarterback and receiver? Because I think you got a guy who could be a star. I've referenced Akeem Williams a lot. There was a moment in the year at practice, which translated very briefly in a game, where I thought, there it is. It's happening. The spark is there. We're going to see it. It's only going to get better as the year goes on. He'll get more ABs. It's going to be by season's end that we look at this guy and project him to be an all ACC caliber player. But then injury hit him too. And he really never got another opportunity after that. He couldn't. And so I'm going to project that he has a massive impact this year to go along with others. If those two are on the same page and the others contribute, and you get the Alabama guys, the offensive guys on Alabama, who add a lot, man, I just don't know how they wouldn't be better. I think it's a no-brainer.
One thing I like about the DJU development, having him in the fold here, is he's from the West Coast. He considers himself a Cali guy, so that means that you're playing in some different temperatures and climates than here. Then after being in the South, playing in essentially what is Southeastern Conference footprint weather, you go to Pacific Northwest weather at Corvallis, and you play in the rain, and you play in the wind. Man, for a schedule this year that features Dublin, a trip to Notre Dame in November, a place that he's played very well in the past, might I add, in the COVID season. If you do what you are supposed to do and play in Charlotte in December, and let's say you win that football game, but maybe, just maybe, you're not one of the top 8 national seeds at that point, and you have to go on the road and play a road game against another college football playoff team that's in the bad weather. You got a kid whose arm travels everywhere. You like to talk about it with the ground game, and I think we're trying to get tougher there, that travels. That arm looked just as strong in Corvallis as it did in 95-degree weather down in the southeastern part of the country. I love that little part of it, in addition to the fact that he is a large human being who is not afraid of contact. There are games in terrible Pac-12 Northwestern weather where you see him running over dudes, where that kind of stuff, it's just these little details that you need to add up This year I think is about the little things adding up more than it is about the stars coming to shine. And these are some details that fit very nicely for what our schedule lays out to be, what college football looks like now with a 12-team playoff. It's a good fit. And let's just see. If he throws for over 62, 63% completion percentage, then I think you're right. This offense will be more productive than last year. That's going to be the number one number for me to look at. There are better ones that are more specific, but just the base numbers. If he can get into that mid 60% range in completion percentage, man, the sky's the limit because we're taking shots downfield this year.
You can scheme wide open throws. The big play ability should be there because you can stretch a defense and force them to defend the entire field. That's what you've brought in now to go along with the quick game, to go along with what should be an improved running game. Florida State lost a ton on first down last year. They were constantly behind the chains. The offensive line was substandard, did not play as well as we thought it would going into the season. They've got to be better. There are a lot of things there, a lot of data points along the way that have to be better for my prediction that the offense will be better to come true. I'm predicting those things will happen. You bring in a big-time offensive lineman. You bring back some offensive linemen that now are going to be in year 2 of the system, so they'll get bigger and stronger. They'll have a better feel for it, a familiarity with it. You have plenty of talent at running back. You have a 6'7" tight end. So you're not devoid there. You lose everybody there, and he'll probably take another big step forward too. I mean, last year was a hell of an adjustment to come from shorter college to Florida State and to not be, the top guy or anything close to it, to outplay an existing tight end, to take over the role as the second tight end, and to get opportunities and at times make some big plays. One can guess that he's only going to take another big step forward. I just think it's in place. I really do. I think the offense will be better and I think more consistent. And then I think defensively, I have more questions, but I do think it was, how could you not think that it was absolutely huge? Tip of the cap to the Battle's End. You bring back a Josh Farmer who's only getting better. He's better year over year. Yeah, we put up with headaches off the field because he's a kid and immature, but he's getting, he's back and he's a hell of a football player. Darrell Jackson finally gets to play football for Florida State. Really never got an opportunity at all. I don't even really count the Georgia game. So that kid will be in the fold the whole way. You bring in the kid from Oregon. You bring in the kid from West Virginia. I think you have an emerging star in Patrick Payton. He's going to be a star, period. And that's an NFL player. So there's a guy coming off the edge. Let's see how much better you are at linebacker. That's a big question mark. I hope it's better. I think you've got a couple of people that are candidates to be good players there. I'm not sure they're done. Somebody in the chat mentioned, well, you're a little worried about the overall depth of defensive tackle as opposed to the top 3 in terms of talent. Listen, let's not forget in this process that Florida State has had success bringing in players at the end of spring. We've seen guys come, Keon Coleman. So you can go out and bring a big-time player in once you kind of assess that roster and players elsewhere assess their place in a roster. And, the next thing you know, you bringing in a kid that you think, hey, this could work. Look, think about Fisk not being able to participate in spring. He was here. He was wearing a green jersey the whole time. Remember that? He didn't do anything.
Yeah. And
so you essentially just had him for the fall.
Correct. And Kentron was the wide receiver too after spring, and he had a good spring camp. But Keon was not a part of the conversation at that point. And so,
right.
Yeah, because there's another question in the chat that is asking, do you think we need to get another proven receiver? They will know after the spring game on April 20th, and their actions will tell you. It's much like the debate that we had about Tate Rodemaker. Would you run it back with him and Brock and see what you could do? Luke comes in and then see what you got for a year. I thought yes. You thought yes. Coaching staff thought no. We want DJU to come into town. Cam Ward, come on down. Let's see what you got. And the moment that they did that, the wheels were in motion where they're telling you loud and clear, this is not good enough.
Yeah, what they told you was, I'm sorry, Tom, what they told you was Tate Rodemaker wasn't good enough.
Right.
And they didn't want to force Brock to have to be the guy next year, and they had an opportunity. Now, they knew DJ wanted to be here. I mean, I think he made that abundantly clear after his visit that he wanted to be here and nowhere else. They were waiting to do the compare and contrast interview process, Cam, figure out what he wants, all of those things. Then you have a pick of the litter because Florida State's in a good spot. you're correct. I interrupted you, but the point would be like, I think that was really more of an indictment of Tate Rodemaker. I think they had seen all they needed to see of Tate. They were done with Tate. And that was the encouragement to take it on down the road.
But it goes to show you in that instance, that's somebody who's been a program guy, been around for a long time in this offense, has, an intimate understanding of what the offense does. And they say, we would rather bring in a dude who is going to have to learn on the fly. Mm-hmm. And to me, that's a healthy thing because they're willing to assess outside of loyalty to program and say, look, bottom line, is he good enough? Yes or no? And they're willing to say the hard answer. That's a hard sell. Like, man, this kid's been around for a long time. This is his shot. This is his opportunity. And they're saying, we're going to project even during bowl practices. And that's why on Christmas Day, what happened. But we're going to project even during bowl practices and this transfer portal window opening that we need to upgrade at this position. So what I mean by all of that is when we get to late April, early May, they are prepared. They have proven to you that they are more than prepared to be cut and dry about what they do need to get better. And spring will do a lot to, flesh it all out.
If your modus operandi is to rely heavily to this point on the portal, you can't be worried about feelings. You got to do it the right way. You got to do it with integrity, but you got to be honest with yourself and the kid. And they have recruited over a ton of kids. They've brought in a ton of people from outside the program when they determined that what they had wasn't good enough. It's about wins and losses. It's about talent acquisition. And because they've done it with integrity, it's kind of like insulting people and having them laugh about being insulted. If they know it comes from a good place, they're not going to fight you. I think it's understandable to say to somebody after several years that you still don't feel comfortable with them starting. It's probably time for us mutually to come to grips with the idea that you need to take it somewhere else. And I'm glad because you can't afford to be the other way if this is how you're going to build your program. Now, I bet you this will wane to some degree. They will continue to be, a person that a team, a program that utilizes obviously the portal. That makes complete sense. You don't want to be a dinosaur. You don't want to be Wuhan Dabo. But you got to continue to use it, but also build it up through the high school ranks with the elite offensive and defensive linemen that you win on that day, the 5-star kids, and then you're not requiring as much from the portal. I like the assessment process. I like the way they go about cutting ties when they have to. I don't think you can ever, if you're trying to be, and you got to be that way with yourself too. I think you got to be that way about your coaching staff. You got to look in the mirror and say, are we getting it done here or not? Is this guy a good recruiter or not? Are we learning what we need to learn? Are guys improving along the way? If the answer is yes, great. If not, we got to fire their ass and move on. This is how you build championship programs.
The number one thing, if you're talking specifically about offensive production and can it be better than last year, DJ, just watching him in depth, there'll be some features coming out where Dominic Robinson goes through the film and you can kind of see some more in-depth the 22 because it's so much easier to derive where a quarterback's eyes are, how quickly they process information. This is a kid who goes 1 to 5 in the progressions. You could tell he's been a quarterback and a specialized asset at that position for a long time because there's refinement to his game. The strange thing is, at times there will be layups and he just misses the wide open layup. If you can take that out of his game, the production goes through the roof. It's already good because he doesn't turn the ball over, but there are just times where he'll make the correct read. A guy is wide open and either the throw is just outright missed or it's on the wrong shoulder and something that could have been a big gain. A guy's knee touches the ground because he's got to break back on the ball and it's a gain of 7 instead of all of the yardage that's in front of him. That's the one thing that I don't know how you fix that. It almost feels like akin to a receiver who has issues with drops. Like, I don't know how you fix that particular issue. But if Mike Norvell can do it, man, then this kid's numbers could go through the roof, like really, really high and really, really productive. And he could be in some of the big conversations towards the end of the season.
We fixed a bunch of stuff about Jordan Travis, and we got Johnny Wilson to catch the ball more frequently than he did, certainly upon his arrival. When he left Arizona State, he couldn't catch. We brought him in. Said that catching the ball would be problematic. It was problematic. It was bad at times, but he was a boomer bust guy that made you better, and then he got better. He had one horrific game this year in which he dropped everything thrown to him, and then from there, other than the injuries, which, not his fault, he caught the ball. He was very consistent. He got better. So there are ways, probably more ways than I would have ever thought possible prior to this past, 2 years. I've been very impressed. Very impressed that they have figured that out. When we come back, I'll chuck this thing through the back window over here. It's the Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
Your local news now.
A Tallahassee man accused of a deadly late-night shooting at a crowded gas station has been found not guilty at trial. Drayshawn Barber, 25, was acquitted of first-degree murder charges Friday evening and walked out of the Leon County Courthouse minutes later. The verdict came after 2 days of testimony and more than 2 hours of jury deliberations. Barber was accused of killing Cordarius Johnson on July 25th of 2020 at the Marathon gas station on West Orange Avenue. With Valentine's Day around the corner, the IRS Criminal Investigation Office is reminding people to remain vigilant to avoid being a victim of romance scams. Criminals use love to scam their way into their victims' hearts for monetary gain. Some tips to avoid falling victim to a scam are to never send money to anyone you have only communicated with online or by phone. Be careful what you post and make public online. Go slowly and ask lots of questions. Anyone who has fallen victim to a romance scam is asked to contact their local law enforcement. This is Rachel Aneo through Real Talk 93.3 Local News Update, brought to you by Macklemore Systems, Tallahassee's go-to Mac store. Check them out online at MclemoreSystems.com.
This is meteorologist Paul Trombley with your Real Talk 93.3 weather update. 68 this afternoon under sunny skies, northeast winds 5 to 10 miles per hour. 39 tonight. Lots of sunshine tomorrow. High temperatures reach up to 71. Daytime highs approaching 70 Friday under overcast skies. 61 Saturday, showers likely. This report is brought to you by the Lawn Johns. For all your landscaping and lawn care needs, visit thelawnjohns.com. Right now, 64.
Your heating and air conditioning system doesn't check with you before it takes a break. That's why we're always ready to help. Any day, anytime, anywhere. And with our annual service agreement, there are no overtime charges. Ever. At Verno Heating and Air, we will always be there for you.
Verno Heating and Air Conditioning.
License CAC 1816186.
So everybody knows, Eddie, that you are a spectacular cook. Of course they know that. If they go into Bumpa's, the food is always good. I mean, everything on the menu.
Mm-hmm.
Everything at Gordo's is delicious. I always, of course, get the bungalow chungla, as I call it.
The bungalow chung, Jeff?
Is that what is the pork?
The bungalow chung, Jeff.
Okay, the bungalow chungla. It's delicious. All these things, all the items, everything you do, a master cook. But, sir, I would ask you, what is a skill that you possess that you're particularly proud of, that nobody would know, and that you could share with us here?
Growing hair, Jeff. Growing hair.
You're an asshole. Gordo's, bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996.
The Jeff Cameron Show is a production of the Warchant.com Multimedia Network. Check out Warchant.com today for the latest news inside Florida State athletics. That's Warchant.com. Now, back to Jeff on
Never been my cup of tea. I've never cared about Valentine's Day even a little bit. I always thought it sucked. Still do. Luckily. My wife thinks it stinks too, so we don't even bother. I'll do some grilling on this Valentine's Day. Our anniversary was on Sunday, so I don't have to ever really worry about it, Tom. I just do the old, hey, we're good to go. Anniversary was Sunday. No need to celebrate this made for TV nonsense. So that's the end of it.
It's made for retail sales is what it's
Of
made
course
for.
it is. It's a made-up holiday. It's nonsense. But I'll do something. I'll do something fun for the kids. I guess I don't want to ruin it for the kids. I'll be like, all right, kids, it's Valentine's Day. I went to Social Kitchen. I rubbed the meats. Here you go. We're good to go. It's off of Carry Force. I'll actually tell you what they're doing over there in a minute. So I think it's time. I mean, we're done with this, right? It doesn't ring. Listen to how it's not ringing. It's nonsense. Broken. Tried to fix it earlier. Listen to that dead ass nothingness. Just nonsense. Hey, back to sucking. Go on the road last night to face Virginia Tech. Kept it close, make key mistakes, critical moments late in the game. 83-75, Virginia Tech, your winner. Middle of the pack ACC team that you had to beat. You couldn't. And Florida State now is doomed. Don't know that they'll make the NIT, hence this nonsense. And the beep beep is celebrating with a pack of cools. Or the ding. No, the ding ding is the one that's broken. Yeah, the beep beep will be here any day now. Virginia Tech started with a 10-2 run in the second half, 2 wide open threes. Those are the only kind of threes that are shot by our opponents. They're the wide open variety every game we play. Every single one of them. 49-41 at that point, 16:30 to play. We cut it to a one-possession game because, of course, we did. It gets your hopes up. Instead of going to bed, you sit up straight, put the pillow behind your neck so that you can watch the rest, even though you know deep in your heart they're going to lose. So there you are, watching with another wide-open three. And that was the Hunter kid's fourth. That makes it 65-56, 6 minutes to play. You take your glasses off. You tell the missus you're going to turn the TV off as she's asked you to do. But because you're a Knoll, you can't bring yourself to it. So you lie. You don't turn off the television. And you hope she doesn't turn back over to bother you. So then you're hanging in there, hanging in. You never get it closer to 5 points. And now you lose 83-75. 13-11, 7-6 in the ACC, fall to a three-way tie for fifth in the conference. That's about it. Watkins was great, 26 points, 7 of 9 from the field, 3 of 3 from beyond the arc, 9 of 11 on the free throw line, 6 boards, 4 assists, 2 steals, 3 block shots. You got Darren Green to emerge from what had been a prolonged shooting slump. He scored 14, 50% from beyond the three-point line. That's nice. But it's slipping away. You got to play spoiler on Saturday at the TLC Double C against a top 10 Duke team who's 19-5, 10-3 in the ACC. You got to salvage something to have a winning season. The postseason is beginning to fade and fade rapidly, and I'm tired of it. I want to care about college basketball. I love Leonard Hamilton. I've said that a million times over. Results matter. We're not winning games in the fashion that is acceptable, and that's where we're at. That's the fair assessment. Would you agree?
Yeah, 5 o'clock first pitch Friday night. We'll see how the baseball team does. Tomorrow night at 4 o'clock down in Clearwater, softball takes on Stanford. And then you're going to tune in on Saturday, but you're going to do so saying, come on, guys, just show me something. Show me a little something. It doesn't have the same juice. I get that it's a top 10 team coming to town, but since it's not Coach K and it's John Shire with Mike Patrick in tow, probably as a sports information director, it's not the same. So hopefully though, Saturday afternoon in your Knoll group texts, everybody starts getting active saying, hey, you guys seeing this? You guys seeing what's going on here? And Florida State makes a run of it. But one magical week in Washington, D.C., that's all they have left because they needed to go on a run against the teams from Virginia, and they did the opposite of that.
I see Mike in the chat, legendary former radio man. Mike, I will find you on Saturday. I did get your email. I have not responded, but I will reach out to you and we'll figure it out. I've got a Saturday thing I got to do later in the day, but I will get together and have an icy cold one with you, and we will talk it up and catch up on our lives. It's golly, is it frustrating, Tom? It is so frustrating because I want it so bad for them. I like this team. I like these kids. I like the way that they kind of came back and got together and fought hard and went on that run, and that got your hopes up. Of course, I love Leonard, Stan. I love Chuck over there. It's been years together. It's been awesome, but you kind of feel like, if I were to continue to play the analogy game here, it's a little bit like you've had a good, long-running relationship. You've been together for 20-plus years, but how many times are we going to get in the car and start another fight? I can't keep doing this. I can't keep getting in the car thinking it's a simple trip up to Costco just to grab a few things we need around the house, and now we're yelling at each other. How long are we going to do this? I love you, woman, but this is getting old. That's where I'm at with Florida State basketball right now. I love you. This is getting old. Bitch.
Well, that's a bad time for me to chime in, but I told you it's redundant with the turn signal. When you're in the turn lane, you don't need to have it on. I don't. Why are we yelling at each other? It's a turn only. It's a turn only. And look, it's not even as though there's two lanes. It's the end of Buck Lake. You can't go anywhere but make a left. I don't
have to turn there.
I can't. Why do I need my turn signal? There's nobody oncoming. There's nothing.
Same conversation every time. Hour number 2 forthcoming. Stay with Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
Glass has been taking care of business since 1945. When you call Whidden Glass, you're dealing with experienced, reliable professionals who offer only the best. Like Whidden's top-of-the-line bath enclosures that provide style and luxury at an affordable price. Eye-catching storefronts are a specialty at Whidden Glass. We'll help you design it and install it. Whidden Glass, the first name in glass replacement. Call 222-5781.
Thank you for calling the Medicare Help Desk. How can we help you?
Can you help me choose the right coverage for myself and my wife?
We sure can. We can help you choose from Medicare supplements, Medicare Advantage, or standalone prescription drug plans from over 30 different insurance carriers.
How much does it cost? We have a fixed income and can't afford extra expenses.
At the Medicare Help Desk, the consultation is completely free. We are here to help.
Thank you, Medicare Help Desk.
Hi, this is Justin Colvin, founder of the Medicare Help Desk. In my 17 years of experience, I routinely speak to seniors who are overwhelmed by the multitude of coverage options available to them. That's why I created the Medicare Help Desk, a place for you to get clear answers to all your questions and make sense of all the confusion. I've helped thousands of clients, and I live right here in Tallahassee with my family. I am active in my church and wish to help and serve my community. If you need help navigating the Medicare landscape, I'm easy to find. Just visit the MedicareHelpDesk.com. That's the MedicareHelpDesk.com.
There's nothing like relaxing in a hot tub after a long day. But if you don't have one, you're truly missing out. Hot tubs and spas have tremendous health benefits, besides just helping you relax. Like improving your sleep, they help with pain relief. They help to better your cardiovascular health, and so much more. And this season is the perfect season to finally buy what you've been wishing for. Pinch a Penny Pool, Patio, and Spas has the hot tubs you need for the price you want. Come shop our huge 12,000 square foot showroom and save today. There's over 50 hot tubs in stock right now, so you won't have to wait weeks on end for that delivery to finally come to town. If you're ready to relax, we're here to show you how. Pinch a Penny Pool, Patios, and Spas. Come visit our huge showroom at 2473 Greer Road with over 50 hot tubs to choose from. You'll be glad you did.
There's fun to be had every night at the Corner Pocket. Take home prizes on Trivia Tuesdays and Beer Bingo Thursdays. And kickstart your weekend with Martini Fridays. Plus happy hour runs every weekday and game day specials every time the Noles take the field. Watch all the best games at the Corner Pocket's Vegas wall, featuring 560 inches of flat screen TV heaven.
Oh, really?
The best food, the best drinks, and the best place to watch all the games. Tallahassee loves the Corner Pocket.
Coming up next, more of the Jeff Cameron Show. Live and local on Real Talk 93.3 WVFT, Greta, Tallahassee.
The latest betting odds and live movements from Vegas. This is your action update. Now here are your latest lines from our guys in the desert.
Florida Gators dropped LSU 82-80 at the O'Connell Center last night, but the Gators did not cover as 11-point home favorites. Florida State falls at Virginia Tech 83-75. The Hokies are the 5.5-point home favorite. Coming up today, South Florida laying 8.5 at home at Tulsa. North Florida +2 at Queens. 164.5 the total at Curry Arena in Charlotte. And it's Kennesaw State laying 5.5 at home against Jacksonville. The total 154. 42 teams competing for 40 starting spots in Sunday's Daytona 500. Qualifying coming up today. Denny Hamlin 9-1 to win the race. Get your free VSiN subscription right now at VSIN.com. For more sports betting news and information, go to VSIN.com. Mike Sennett, Real Talk 93.3.
Hey, what are you doing up on the step stool?
About to clean these light fixtures. The whole family's coming over. And if there's even a speck of dust in the house, my abuela will find it.
Here, I got a Swiffer duster to help with that.
A Swiffer what?
A Swiffer duster. It has this cool extendable handle that reaches 6 feet to get high and low, with fluffy dusters that easily trap and lock dust.
So no more step stool?
No more step stool.
Easily trap and lock dust from hard to reach places with the Swiffer duster. Love it or your money back.
Progressive asks, what do a middle school slumber party,
Let's stay up all night. Yeah.
a sleep-deprived girl, an early morning paper route, and a poorly thrown rolled-up newspaper have in common?
Hey, my window!
They can become a fast-breaking news story.
Sorry, Mr. Thompson.
Bundle your home and auto with Progressive for great savings and round-the-clock protection.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
Sick and tired of achy joints? Dread the idea of surgery? You need to call QC Kinetics today. Hey, everybody, it's Greg Tish. Listen, the state of healthcare is always changing. The old ideas like steroids and surgery are no longer your only options. Regenerative medicine at QC Kinetics is transforming lives with innovative, non-surgical, drug-free treatments that deliver lasting results. Knee pain, back pain, shoulder pain from arthritis or injury? Don't let that pain keep you from living your best life. QC Kinetics advanced state-of-the-art treatments harness and direct your body's natural ability to restore and repair damaged joint tissue. This is a revolutionary approach that can give you long-term relief with no downtime. Make 2024 the year you reclaim your mobility, reclaim your independence, walk and run, play and live without danger and trauma of surgery and without harmful drugs. Call QC Kinetics for a free consultation. Their number 850-391-4280. That's 850-391-4280. 850-391-4280. I'm Greg Tish, and I want to share how it all began at Tallahassee Community College. During a quiet moment on a fishing trip in 1963, FSU President Gordon Blackwell looked to Lewis Hill, who was a member of the Leon County Board of Public Instruction, and said, "Lou, why don't you get a junior college?" When Lou told Gordon he felt the college would compete with FSU, Gordon responded, "Nah, you ought to have one." We don't know if they caught any fish that day, but they did catch a big idea.
TCC thanks our community for 58 years of support. We look forward to moving into the future together.
We all want more energy, more strength, more results. Well, welcome to Orange Theory Fitness as you take a step towards feeling more alive today. Backed by science, Orange Theory's heart rate monitored workout is scientifically designed to keep heart rates in a target zone, spiking metabolism and increasing energy. Orange Theory Fitness is a one-of-a-kind group personal training workout resulting in more energy, visible toning, and extra calorie burn for up to 36 hours. Experience a more vibrant life today with Orange Theory Fitness. To find out more, go to orangetheoryfitness.com.
Broadcasting live from Florida's capital city, this is the Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Orange Theory Fitness on Real Talk 93.3. Now, stop what you're doing and listen closely. It's time for the Jeff Cameron Show in 5, 4...
Hey, listen, I got to bring something to the show here that I'm going to talk about. Tom and I were talking about it today. I'll bring it to your attention shortly. Other than the start of the first and second hours, I think we're going to have to give way to the world of licensing and not have bumper. We're going to do something different. It's going to be fun. It'll be an addition to the show, but maybe an old way of the show will go the way of the dodo, unfortunately. Hey, listen, I like what the music always represented. It's all from my music collection. It's all stuff that I've loved. It's all stuff that served as a personality on the show. But, man, we get zapped all the time. We can't keep doing it. Now they're threatening us even on the podcast for the bumper that starts the hours. Coming up soon with baseball being back, we have probables. We're going to use music for that. But Tom's right. You guys may not get it on YouTube. You may have to hear it on the podcast. I don't know. It's a toughie, but this is just the way of the world, and I'm not happy about it, but that's the way it works. Greed took over. What do you guys think? You guys like it? Television there in the background. We dimmed it because Tom's eyes were burning, and so there you see now it's dimmed. It looks much better, I think. I think it does. Do you agree with that?
My eyes were burning. Oh,
you didn't
man.
like how bright it was.
No, correct. The camera didn't like how bright it was. That's the most important thing. The camera didn't like it very much. You couldn't see what was on the screen. Yeah, there's something that could be done there, though. I think maybe some funny photos, maybe some show-themed photos, like a nice little photo gallery of.
I've got some nudes we could put up there.
Yeah.
We could, you know.
Yeah, that's it. That's what we're looking for.
That's from my 1994 Playgirl shoot. I've held on to those, and we could throw those up there. Maybe increase the ladies in the audience. Who knows? Tom would be like, "Let me know when those are not on the screen."
Right, that will be. I'm retiring. Okay.
Man, I was thinking about Hauser today. I was thinking about driving over, parking, getting out. I think we're gonna have really nice. Are we gonna have really nice weather? Is that what we have? Saturday, not so much. Saturday's ugly. What do we got? Director Matthew, check the weather window. What do we have there for Friday opening day? Florida State baseball. We've moved on. You heard me from the last segment. We're done with the. I don't know that I care about basketball right now. You know, we could do. What's the? Is it? Tom, you'll have to tell me what the. Yeah, look at that. Look at that there. That's all right. That's not bad. Okay.
Little cloud
Saturday.
cover. Little cloud cover.
Yeah, we'll be all right. Dude, I don't know what we put up there. You know, when you go to bars, there was a stretch there. Wasn't the channel that people put on in the background Chive or something like that? Wasn't that a thing?
Yeah, that's right.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah, how about that?
What about the interactive trivia that's at the bars? What if you just had the interactive trivia rolling behind you with questions?
I love trivia. I'll be too tempted. I'll see the reflection to answer the trivia questions as we're sitting here. You and I both love trivia, but the Chive thing was good because it had a lot of people falling down. I'm a big fan of people getting hurt and falling down on video, wrecking on a ski slope and taking 17 people out with them, especially fat people. It's the best. I like it when skateboarders, think too much of their skills and break all their teeth. That's fun. I like that. I like random slips on ice where people live in inclement weather and are routinely busting ass just trying to go get their mail. Love all that stuff. That's good.
Buddy,
kids on bouncy houses, you name it.
It's different. Yesterday up here, depending upon what part of the area you're in, you got somewhere between 4 and 14 inches of snow. And the wind kind of converted it because there's a wind event always, forever. A wind event converting it into ice. Man, you take so much smaller steps. We talked about this before, like reminders that you're old. You do calculations on things that on the playground, you jump from one place to the other, wouldn't think twice.
Don't care. Right.
And now I'm checking every step. I'm going, it's a little patch. I could step on it, but I don't need to step on it. So we're going to step on over here and we're going to proceed forward. I think what you should do with the television screen is make it vertical and then put the photo of the rug Chairman Cameron in the background.
I could just bring the rug in. I don't know that I want to.
That would go from the ceiling to the floor, though, wouldn't it? That thing's a monster.
It is big. It's a giant rug made by prisoners of a foreign country working very, very hard in Tajikistan. How cool is that? Putting those prisoners to work for a good cause and weaving a blanket or a throw rug, if you will, that portrays me as Chairman Mao. It is like, think about how bizarre that is. You have friends in a place like Tajikistan who end up finding that you can get rugs made by prisoners through a service, and it ends up looking like I'm Chairman Mao. It's great.
It is. You've got a space over your right shoulder. I would suggest that there's a huge space over your right shoulder on the wall there, right next to the microphone. You could put the rug right there.
I could start eating those apricots after big wins.
You know what? I think that's why the playoff committee was allowed for corruption. I think that's why they allowed for corruption in the room, was they didn't see the video. And they said, you know what? Tiebreaker. We did not get the video. I'm a huge Cameron Show fan. He's not taking Florida State's season seriously, so neither am I. You know what? Alabama's in. Texas too. Let's do this thing.
So I want to give credit to the person who posted this stat. This is football related. I read it during the break. I was reading a bunch of stuff during the break, and I came across this guy named Neil Payne posted this, and so he gets credit. And you know how in the last 2 days, obviously, it's been a reaction. I'm just throwing this out here. This is completely different. The reaction to the Chiefs winning the Super Bowl, obviously, and where that puts Mahomes, and everybody wants to place him historically, and then we know the numbers and all that. But here you go. You know, this is crazy. This is crazy. So, Tom, you'll like this. Since the 2001 season, 56 quarterbacks have led 125 drives in the playoffs, in which it was the fourth quarter or overtime. The drive ended with under a minute left to play, and the offensive team was either tied or trailed by 7 points or fewer going into said drive. So you got it. We're talking about clutch time. We're talking about the biggest moments of a quarterback's life with a chance to tie or win the game. It's all on the line. It is the postseason, and there's under a minute to play. All right?
All right.
That's it. Got it in a nutshell.
56 dudes that have done that?
There have been, since 2001, 56 quarterbacks and 125 drives. All right? Of those 125 drives, only 50, total number, 40%, saw the offensive team score what they needed to in order to either tie the game or take the lead. So you go down and you save your season, you continue the game, or you win it. Now, obviously, the first that comes to mind is Tom Brady. The great ones stand out. We remember them. It's etched indelibly. Tom Brady went 5 for 11, 46% in that scenario. Drew Brees went 3 for 6, 50% when he was presented with those opportunities. Aaron Rodgers, in those situations, was 3 of 4, 75%. Josh Allen and Jeff Garcia, of all people, by the way, each went a perfect 2 for 2 in that scenario. All right, 2 for 2. Only one quarterback has been the absolute outlier of perfection in the stat. In his playoff career, Patrick Mahomes is 7 for 7 in those situations. He's never not done it. He is 7 for 7, including both the game-tying drive at the end of regulation and the game-winning drive in overtime this past Sunday. The average quarterback during that sample led his team to 1.7 points per drive. Mahomes has led the Chiefs to 3.4 points per drive in that situation. There has been the quick strike variety, the famed 13-second game-tying sprint against the Bills, and if you're poor Josh Allen, you're reminded, really? I gave us the lead with 13 seconds to play, and you sorry bitches couldn't hold on to it? Good God. That was the 2021-2022 playoffs. He's also done the lengthier drives as well, including the 5-minute game-winning march versus Director Matthews' Eagles in last year's Super Bowl. The 13-play, 75-yard, 7+ minute masterclass in overtime on Sunday, where Mahomes went a perfect 8 for 8 in the air, 42 yards, game-winning TD, also rushed for 27 yards in same drive with his legs. It's the stuff of myth and fable. It's unheard of. He has been a cold-blooded winning machine when the time is at the most essence it could be, of the most essence it could be. It's crazy.
So that also, when you get to his legacy, and I know that I shouldn't use that word because from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. ESPN loves to use, actually these days 6 a.m. with Get Up, they'll start with it. But when you think about the day that Robert Kraft started at Orchids of Asia and made it up to the AFC Championship.
What a big day for him.
A big day because the Patriots did win that game. But am I not mistaken that Mahomes didn't get to touch the football in a situation where he could have gone? Look, so
that's the overtime game to the Patriots.
Right. It took another one happening to Allen before you get to a place where, the rules had changed for the playoffs. But you think about that and you think about how the average number is 4 out of 10 times you succeed, and he's closing in on 10 out of 10 times that he would succeed in getting what he needs in crunch time. The one time he's been prohibited from the Super Bowl, one of 2 in his career, has been because he didn't get a chance to touch the ball in said situation. Like, that's crazy. That's crazy.
They lost to Joe Burrow in overtime as well.
Did they have a possession?
In the playoff game? No, I don't think they did.
So
Joe Burrow did it to him.
But
that was the legend of my man Joe Burrow, right? He was like, I'll go into KC and drop it down.
Well, and that kicker.
Yeah, the kid from UF or whatever. Yeah,
McPherson. Yeah. So, but that's the thing here is as you get into and time goes on, we'll start talking about those things. The legend of Patrick Mahomes, like the only times he would not go to the Super Bowl were when the rules prohibited him.
Yeah, he couldn't get the ball
from doing something. It's like, you know what? Yankees, you have a 1-run lead, but there's a rule here that says the Red Sox automatically score 2. So Mo Rivera, you don't get to go pitch the 9th inning. You automatically blow the save. Like, what is that?
Yeah, it's silly. I mean, I know it gets old and everybody would be tired of it. And I just did a rant on it yesterday about how tired of it I already am, but I certainly can be tired of something yet acknowledge the greatness within. And that is what is happening. But I thought those numbers, when I came across that stat and then went through and read the rest of the article and thought, well, sweet Jesus. I mean, that is insane to be 7 for 7 in those situations and to average 3.4 points per drive in that situation when all the other guys combined average 1.7. It's just, whew.
Here's a question for you. I think I know the number one answer is if you were to have a Knoll in college football to be in that situation, crunch time. Right. Who's number 2? Who would be your second guy in that situation? Because this would be me leaning on you for more historical perspective. I was just a little kid who's rah-rahing all the way, but I couldn't tell you who the clutch players were when I was watching the 90s.
Well, in fairness to all of our national champions, you have to have a whole lot of what for and moments in time that are snapshots that every fan will remember to you in your game. Chris Weinke had them. Obviously, Jameis Winston had them. Charlie Ward, I mean, that whole situation was born out of a comeback to where, you get the onside kick against Georgia Tech and go down, and that's the birth of the Kentucky Derby offense, and you do what they did. That's interesting, though. I would like to go back and look at game to game for a career, which FSU quarterbacks delivered in those situations the most. It might surprise us. You may end up going back to a non-championship quarterback, somebody who just did it a lot and was responsible for a ton of comebacks, but isn't remembered in the same with the same fondness because they didn't deliver a title. They came up short. So that could be, as a starting quarterback anyhow. That could be a Danny Cannell. I don't know, somebody like that. I'm just saying people who had great success. There were so many good players. I mean, Peter Tom Willis was a really good player.
Yeah.
Casey Weldon was an awesome player and clutch. And, you go on, you can keep Danny McManus, you keep going. There are a lot of guys that found ways to win games that maybe didn't leave the university with a title under their belt.
Yeah, probably, outside of Jameis in the national championship, the most famous would be Rick's to Sam, because that you got to have it in that moment. You have EJ's, play on Thursday night against Virginia Tech when they had to have it. That came after a 4th down conversion. That was Rashad Green.
I know it wasn't the same sort of stakes on the line, but I mean, none of us are going to, forget 4th and 14 most recently. Obviously beating Miami is a big deal. And to convert that and to have that throw at the end of the game to start that drive along the sideline, Jordan Travis gets credit for that. It's amazing.
Yeah. I don't think anybody touches Jameis 2014 season in that regard, but it's not the same thing as the last minute of a game. Like what the parameters that you're talking about don't fit. But when you put 3rd and 4th quarter, gotta be nails. Like Jameis was always nails that season. I mean, it was unbelievable.
To the point where you're like, this is insane. And there were memes about it. Not Tonight Haters was born out of the fact that every chance he got, he made those plays. And we all got to see DiCaprio raising the glass of champagne for the Great Gatsby. It's just get you some. It always made me laugh. I loved reposting it over and over and over again. And how many times, Chris Fowler especially, did people at home who hated Florida State think to themselves, oh, really? We're going to give the ball back to that dude with 2 minutes to play? I think we know how this is going to end. Son of a! And it was glorious. Because deep down, even though we were nervous, I think most of us also had seen enough to say, yeah, we're going to win. James can go ahead and do this thing.
Yeah. The best was, what did it deflect off of for Carlos to catch the ball on the road at Miami? You were in the building that night. Was it somebody's helmet? Was it somebody's hand?
It was a crazy play. Ball went straight up. Yeah, that's hilarious.
Right to Carlos. Now, I know,
And I could see it playing out in slow motion. I was on the 50, surrounded by Miami fans, and it's just me and Matt Britton, and we're decked head to toe in Knowles gear. And I'm like, ooh, I'm pointing because I see it's going to catch it.
That team was so complacent that you had to have Ramsey strip sack early in the game. You had to have that fluky play, Aguayo being nails from 50 plus, and then Dalvin taking it over late in order for you to win. Like that, all of those things had to happen in order for you to. That team goes in the Hall of Fame of most complacent teams in football history. 2014, not just Florida State history.
What's crazy is Dalvin's run at the end, and when he flashes the 305 to the audience, and they're all shooting him a bird and angry, and all that sort of stuff. That angle is impossible. How does he? It's when you see it, you're like, oh, he's not going to get a touchdown. Holy Jesus! It just happened. Look at that. He teleported from the 12. This is crazy. Well, every time I watch him, I'm like, he's not going to get there. Oh my God, he got there, kind of easily. It's really remarkable. He was a special player. It's Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
Excellence defines us, so we'll never let orthopedic pain and injury define you. TOC is a physician-led team of fellowship-trained specialists providing the highest level of orthopedic care in the region. With 12 centers of excellence and TOC Now urgent care clinics, our patients access affordable, expert care fast. TOC, only experts. Schedule an appointment at teamtoc.com.
A cup of Joe, Java, Brew, Go-Go Beans, Brainwater, Liquid Lightning, Wakey Juice, whatever you call your cup of coffee, you're missing out if it's not Grassroots Coffee. At Grassroots, way to order the best roasted coffee beans available. It's very simple. Choose the blend you want and how you want it ground, and the bag you receive will have the date your beans were roasted and packaged on it, all written by hand and signed by the roast master himself. You'll know that's as fresh as it gets. You can get Grassroots outside of your house also at some of your favorite restaurants in town. Next time you're out to eat, try asking for Grassroots Coffee by name, because there's a good chance they will have it for you. And if you own a business, Grassroots Coffee has options to stock your break rooms with all the productivity community powder your team needs. Plus, like some other options that you'll find at work, Grassroots Coffee actually is a part of our community. Hit grassrootscoffee.com today and get yourself a treat. Some locally owned, locally roasted, and locally loved Grassroots Coffee.
For 3 days only, February 23rd through the 25th, area boat and motor buyers will save thousands at Mike's Marine and Houseboat Show in beautiful Panacea. This is the event you don't want to miss. Every Yamaha motor from 2.5 to massive 425 horsepower has special extra low pricing. Yamaha 4 in 24. Check out the region's largest selection of the best boats, including Skeeter, Sea Hunt, Robalo, Tidewater, and G3, inshore, offshore, river, or lake. Mike's Marine has a boat for you, and you will buy for less. Some boat packages discounted over $10,000. Save on all accessories, including electronics and trolley motors too. They even drop prices on all pre-owned inventory. Lenders will be on site providing instant credit approvals and easy financing options. Door prizes too. And while you're there, drop in on one of Pannacea's phenomenal seafood restaurants. Hours of the show are Friday and Saturday from 8 to 6 and Sunday from 10 to 4. The Mike's Marine In-House Boat Show, February 23rd through the 25th. Don't miss it.
Why choose a Sleep Number smart bed? Because no two people sleep the same. Only the Sleep Number smart bed lets you each choose your individual firmness and comfort, your Sleep Number setting. The Climate 360 smart bed is so smart, it actively cools or warms up to 13 degrees on either side for your ideal sleep temperature. And now, during our President's Day sale, save 50% on the Sleep Number limited edition smart bed, plus free home delivery when you add any base. Ends Monday. To find a store near you, visit sleepnumber.com.
Hey everyone, it's Joe Montana. Spreading the word about pneumococcal pneumonia, a potentially serious bacterial lung disease that can be life-threatening. If you're 65 or older like me, you're at increased risk. So, what's the game plan? A strong defense. Pneumococcal pneumonia can strike at any time in any season, so you shouldn't wait to help protect yourself. Talk to your doctor or pharmacist about vaccination today and learn more at knowpneumonia.com. That's KNOW pneumonia.com.
Sponsored by Pfizer.
We all want more energy, more strength, more results. Well, welcome to Orange Theory Fitness as you take a step towards feeling more alive today. Backed by science, Orange Theory's heart rate monitored workout is scientifically designed to keep heart rates in a target zone, spiking metabolism and increasing energy. Orange Theory Fitness is a one-of-a-kind group personal training workout resulting in more energy, visible toning, and extra calorie burn for up to 36 hours. Experience a more vibrant life today with Orange Theory Fitness. To find out more, go to orangetheoryfitness.com.
The Jeff Cameron Show is a production of the Warchant.com Multimedia Network. Check out Warchant.com today for the latest news inside Florida State athletics. That's Warchant.com. Now, back to Jeff.
That's ever been on television. So the NFL continues to win there. That's not what I want to talk about. Just as an aside, here's something I do want to make you aware of. I think it's largely due to advertising with me. Social Kitchen is kicking ass. You've got catering, you've got steaks, you've got all the good stuff. Introducing Wine Wednesday. That's today. Just in time for Valentine's Day for those of you that celebrate. You can get a 10% discount on all wine and cheese, including the grazing boards. Who doesn't like a good grazing board? Treat your partner. 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. Tempting selections, 10% off. Wine Wednesday. Store hours off of Cary Forest there is 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. On the weekends, it's 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. on Saturday, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. on Sunday. I already told you $5 off per pound on any steak, which was Monday. Tuesday is bring in your own Social Kitchen tote bag and receive 15% off the prepared food items. And those prepared meals are delicious, made same day, good to go, save you and your busy spouse the time and the trouble. Swing in there and get you a delicious meal. And my man, Chef Chris, killing it, and they're growing leaps and bounds. Go check it out today. Good stuff. Good stuff. Hey, are we allowed to promote, Tom? I don't know. The thing I'm doing tomorrow? for people obviously who are
old
members and all of that. Yeah.
At 9:45. Oh yeah, absolutely. We could talk about it. If the question and answer period has already lapsed, but for those Warchant Gold members,
That's right.
Warchant Gold subscribers, there was an Ask Warchant Anything in partnership with our friends at the Battle's End. So that's very, very cool. And the first player, these are student athletes that you're going to be able to ask questions to. And this is in the Renegade room of Warchant.com's message board. So if you are at that upper level of members, you can talk to the players and ask them questions. And it's through Jeff. He is going to be the vessel by which the questions are communicated. Azarie Thomas is the first player. Azarie Thomas.
I can't wait to sit down with Azarie Thomas tomorrow at 9:45 a.m. and answer some questions. It's going to be fun. And ask him questions, let him answer questions, I should say. Wouldn't it be funny if I asked the question and said, hold on, Azarie, I'll answer that. That would be, he might be upset about that, and the Battle's End would too. But that's tomorrow, and it's the kind of goodness. It's kind of fun and games we have around here. If you're a gold member, going over to the Renegade room and asking questions to student athletes. Azarie Thomas is first up. I'll ask those questions tomorrow morning. Those will get posted in that forum, and that'll be fun. And there's going to be future guys on there as well, if I'm not mistaken. And we've been on there. You've answered, I've answered, Ira's answered, Corey's answered. We've all answered.
So the way to get access to those features and some other things that will roll out as time goes on is you go to warchant.com and you enroll in the ad-free tier. It's the ad-free tier. It comes along with that. You get an extra 5% off of every purchase from Garnet and Gold, as long as you're a member, a subscriber of warchant.com. So there's a bonus subscription, or I should say discount for you. And then things like this. There are going to be more players. So hop on over to the Renegade room. I would say next week we will have an announcement of the next player. And that Q&A will be available for everybody to view in a couple of days.
Timmy2 on Twitter says, at Jay Cameron Show, I hate Valentine's Day as well because it is also my birthday. Oh, I don't know about that. Timmy2, happy birthday. I would think that you could double down on the goodness. I mean, it is your birthday and Valentine's Day. I mean, it could be your night, buddy. Don't know if you have a special someone, but it was already going to be your day, but we're going to add to it. It's going to get spicy at Timmy T's. Kids, you stay out with your friends. So I don't know. I don't know where you're at, but I hope you have a great birthday, Timmy T. He may be like young and wanting to go out and have fun on his birthday, but it's kind of ruined because it's Valentine's Day and it's couples everywhere. And so he's got some fellas that he wants to hang out with, but they can't because they're with their wives or their girlfriends. So that's maybe what he's referencing as opposed to the overindulgence that I was thinking of.
See, the thing is, though, if you are single, as I was for quite some time, and you go out on a night like Valentine's Day in your 20s, well, at that point, if there is somebody there, a significant person that they're no frills, that they don't want any BS. They're there too. And they're the right kind of person. That's a good candidate right there. That is an excellent candidate to sit down, have a conversation with and see what they're all about. Because if they catch your eye and they're there on Valentine's Day night, having a brewski or having a cocktail, man, that they're solid. Right. That's the right cloth to be cut from right there.
So tomorrow the Genesis gets started. Wagers will abound. I'll mention a few, but did you see Tigers unveil? The Sunday red looks good. What'd you think?
Hopefully it's better than the Fanatics baseball rollout in terms of quality because Fanatics is now taking over MLB uniforms and they look like t-shirt giveaways for the first 12 months. Yeah, they look awful. Yes.
I thought they were only taking over the city. What are they called? The city unit.
City Connect.
Yeah, City Connect.
So apparently, I was reading up on this yesterday because they're being widely panned. What Fanatics is doing with these uniforms is that they're sub-licensing Nike. Like Fanatics is the one that's actually making this thing. While Nike might have the brand on the jersey, not Fanatics. It's a Fanatics product, and the names are smaller. The numbers look like they're terrible and made of $3 material. I'm sure Tiger is suitable for a more well-to-do crowd, and they're paying for it. But there's a problem here in front of us with MLB uniforms, which is not something you really want to mess with too much.
No, you don't. But if they are just the City Connect uniforms, I can live with that. I don't always like the City Connect stuff. Sometimes they're good. Pittsburgh had a good one last year. Oh, you're putting them up on the screen here. Let's go. Let's look at this here. So you think those are looking shoddy?
Yeah. There's a good example of Miles Mikolas and what it looks like for the Cardinals jerseys. But yeah, you can see they shrunk the names down. The quality of the patching of the numbers, it looks like it's going to fade away within 4 uses of the jersey or a couple of washings of the jersey. And the players said that they feel like crap too. It's almost like that.
Got an issue, yeah.
It's almost like that episode of Seinfeld with the cotton versus polyester comes to life here.
So the guy that runs Fanatics, and I'm forgetting his name right now, billionaire dude who's made a gazillion dollars, obviously being really good at this. He's got his hand in almost everything. It's the trading card business. They did a Netflix show about him. He does everything from shirts to collectibles of all kinds, in-game experiences, all these things, right? He's connected to everybody in the sports world. He gets invited to everything. He's obviously been a shrewd businessman and done very well. For them to whiff this much, he was talking about the growing empire and what he wanted to add. And I just got done hearing that not long ago. I think it was on Bill Simmons' podcast, I believe. Anyhow, the point would be like they were pumped about this. And now you're telling me that this is, the players are like, this is garbage. Get out of here.
That is a uniform. That on the screen for the people that are driving around town or on the podcast.
It's like a t-shirt. It's like a t-shirt.
What they give away to the first 20,000 fans with a giant logo of Nathan's Hot Dogs on the sleeve is now what it looks like that players could be wearing unless this is addressed. It looks horrendous.
So, yeah, there's the players don't like it. The fabric is a very different consistency. I don't know, though. I will tell you this. This may be botched and be terrible, and they may have to go back to the drawing board, and they may have just wasted a lot of money, and they're going to get a lot of bad publicity. But I will tell you, if you've ever felt a baseball jersey that those guys play in, I've always thought that, man, those things are way too cumbersome. There's a lot of thickness to those things. It's 100 degrees outside for much of the baseball season. What are we doing with all this on here? It's insane. Go back the old days in the 80s when they're playing in St. Louis on freaking AstroTurf and it's 120 and those guys are in those giant cotton. Oh, I always...
It's basically wool. I think they were made out of wool.
Yeah. Well, that's like everything that you see in black and white photos or the early 1900s. We joke about it all the time. It's all those poor bastards. The men weren't allowed to walk out of the house unless they had 17 layers of goodness on. It all had to be dressed to the nines with a cap. It's 107 degrees. People smoking cigarettes as you're standing there waiting to go to work. It's just, damn it. We're all going to be dead by the age of 50 and uncomfortable while we're here. 50 was actually, that was wishful thinking. I mean, you weren't living to 50. I just got done listening to, and we'll go to break. I just got done listening to what the world was like in this country before regulations came into play on the food packing industry and the meat market. Now, I know about Updike and I know about certain famous books, of course, but I mean, this was an in-depth analysis of what was going on with just the milk in this country. They put formaldehyde in milk. They were killing babies left and right back in the day. It was insane. 400,000 infants a year at one point dying from drinking them. Yep, 400,000 just from drinking milk. Look it up. Late 1800s. Awful. And they would try to stretch that milk out and get more. Oh, imagine that. Corporate greed. They were trying to get more bang for their bucks. So they'd pour water in it. You know what water they were pouring in? From the farm pond. Stagnant with worms swimming around in it. Here's your milk, Mary. Good luck with the youngin'. It's Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
Your local news now.
Monday, a judge set a trial date for Donald Adelson. She is a former mother-in-law of Dan Markle. Markle was an FSU law professor who was murdered in the Benton Hills neighborhood of Tallahassee in 2014. Donna's trial is set to begin September 30th. Adelson was arrested in South Florida in November. At the time of the arrest, Donna was on her way to Vietnam, a country that does not extradite to the U.S. She was arrested just 1 week after her son Charlie was convicted for the murder of Markle. 2 men were arrested over the weekend in Leon County in connection to a 2022 shooting that that left a 16-year-old dead in Bainbridge. Cameron Bell and Ladarius Campbell's weekend arrest stemmed from a shooting that happened in November of 2022 on North Sim Street, leaving 16-year-old Kadarius Smart dead. Two other men, Henry Knight and Terrence Anderson, were arrested a few days after the incident. Campbell was also involved in a separate shooting that happened at a Tallahassee convenience store in August of 2020. This is Rachel Anay with Real Talk 93.3 Local News Update, brought to you by Macklemore Systems, Tallahassee's go-to Mac store. Check them out online at McLemoreSystems.com.
This is meteorologist Paul Trombley with your Real Talk 93.3 weather update. 68 this afternoon under sunny skies, northeast winds 5 to 10 miles per hour. 39 tonight. Lots of sunshine tomorrow. High temperatures reach up to 71. Daytime highs approaching 70 Friday under overcast skies. 61 Saturday, showers likely. This report is brought to you by the Lawn Johns. For all your landscaping and lawn care needs, visit thelawnjohns.com. Currently, it's 66 degrees.
Hey, no fans, our partner ISF Inc. is a national management and IT consulting firm located right here in Tallahassee, Florida, solving the future for state governments through strategy, process, and technology. As a trusted advisor for state governments, ISF knows the importance of defining a clear and detailed strategy. Our friends at ISF can help your organization create a strategy that sets you on a path to success. ISF, your vision plus our expertise brings your brilliant ideas to life. Visit ISF.com to learn more. ISF, solving the future. So everybody knows, Eddie, that you are a spectacular cook. Of course they know that. If they go into Bumpa's, the food is always good. I mean, everything on the menu. Everything at Gordo's is delicious. I always, of course, get the bungalow chungla, as I call it.
The bungalow chung, Jeff?
Is that what is the pork?
The bungalow chung, Jeff.
Okay, the bungalow chungla. It's delicious. All these things, all the items, everything you do, a master cook. But, sir, I would ask you, what is a skill that you possess that you're particularly proud of that nobody would know and that you could share with us here?
Growing hair, Jeff. Growing hair.
You're an asshole. Gordo's, bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996.
The Jeff Cameron Show is a production of the Warchant.com Multimedia Network. Check out Warchant.com today for the latest news inside Florida State athletics. That's Warchant.com.
I bet you never knew that, Tommy. 400,000. Crazy.
That's for that time too. That's a high percentage of babies.
Yeah.
The world wasn't overpopulated just yet. That is an extremely high percentage of American babies.
Steven's funny. Why the Game Oregon Trail was so real. I love that stuff. Reading about folks making their way out west back in the day across the Great Plains, where there was a lot to worry about. There was a lot to worry about. Starting with just if this stupid wagon wheel breaks. We got some real problems. This wheel is getting a little clunky on me. We're going to get stuck out here on the plains and the Comanche are coming. This is not going to end well. This is a bad death. And then moreover, if they don't find us, we live long enough, they will. If they don't find us, we're going to freeze to death and or starve to death, and soon we're going to start eating one another. This is what's going to happen. This is our life. This is what we've got left, guys, all because of this wheel.
I'll tell you, Papa O'Malley was eating the kid, his teenager, who said, Dad, why are you overpacking? We're just going west. You don't need another axle. Just don't worry about it. It all breaks down. He's like, well, you question me.
Yeah.
You. I'm sorry, Seamus.
Plus, you've always been fat.
That's right.
You're gonna be the first we eat, you big fat ass. Yeah, that's a toughie. All right. So what do I got here this week? Pizza money on Justin Thomas to win the Genesis.
Oh.
5 to win 117. By the way, he's finished no worse than 12th so far in a tournament this year. Have you noticed that?
Yes, he was one of my picks. If I was going to get it to thrown over this way, because he's paying out at 3.5 to 1 for a top 5 finish. That's for a top 5 finish. 3.5 to 1 is very good odds. He's playing well, and this means a lot to him given his relationship with Tiger.
Place a top 10 on Adam Scott, who is rounded into form yet again. 43 years old, looking 23 years old. Swing's still sweet, and he's starting to putt it. That's the whole thing with him. Make some putts, because the swing is always something to behold. Always. Place him in the top 10. You can get 3 to 1 on that. You can get Wyndham Clark to sprinkle in there a little bit too. He's played very well. And, of course, Aberg, formerly known as Aberg, is now Abor. Ludwig, Luddy, who we like a lot. I actually did pick him to win the tournament as well. And obviously, anytime you're picking somebody to win a tournament, the chances are you're not going to win the bet. But that's also pizza money. 10 to win 210. Not so bad. Kind of fun there. I'm doing, for the purposes of the show, the modest bets, Tom. I'm not going to get in here and get into the weeds, some of the bigger bets. We come in here and we say, hey, 5 here, 10 there. You know why I do that? I saw a stat that the average bet is less than $4. Who the hell is out here betting $3 on something?
Really?
Sweet Jesus. Get it together, man.
That's a lot. Well, you know what that is?
Betting.
Those are people placing $2 parlays all day long, hoping that this is the last bet they ever have to make.
Yeah. Well, you just don't need to be betting if you're betting $2.
So Tiger, that's not going to do anything for you. And if that gives you juice, I don't know what. That's interesting.
Yeah. You gotta have a little. Well, I don't want to encourage. Whatever.
So Tiger is basically even money to make the cut. It's minus 110 for Tiger to make the cut. For reference, for those of you out there, it's minus 2,000 for Scotty Scheffler to make the cut. So Tiger is on the very bottom of the totem pole. Do you think he makes it?
He did something weird last year. Didn't he shoot 2 rounds in the 60s and then had the one blow-up round at 75 that cost him dearly? I think like 75. His 2 bad rounds were like 75, 74, and his 2 good rounds were that akin to some of the better players, 68, something like that, 66.
What was crazy is, if I recall, on the par 3s, he was just a shot maker left and right. You're talking 180, 210, 170. Doesn't matter the distance. He was hitting the best shot of the day across the entire field. But, there's that whole thing about walking the whole course and being in shape enough with the back injury and the hips and all that kind of stuff to get through 72 holes, which he could not do.
I do believe that the Sunday Red, that's how it's written out, will do well. Everything Tiger throws his, logo behind does well. He's going to do just fine. And, it's not going to be chintzy. It's going to be of good quality. So he'll do fine. That Sunday Red thing, he made it with TaylorMade. They'll do well. They'll get that thing out in front. He'll do well. Make the cut. Sure. On the number, Tom. On the number. As an aside, because people will tune out if we continue to talk golf. What Scotty Scheffler is doing from a ball striking standpoint has never been done before. It's the silliest thing in the world. If he could putt even a little bit, he'd win every tournament every weekend. It is insane. And now, how in your head must it be to be better at everybody in every category except for one, and you can't win tournaments? It's just got to drive you nuts. I mean, the strokes gained numbers on him right now are otherworldly. It's every shot. It's long irons, it's short irons, it's off the tee, it's everything. It's accuracy, it's everything you would ever want. If I said to you, you're going to be the best off the tee, you're going to be long off the tee, you're going to be the most accurate with your long irons, you're going to be really good from 100 in, you'd say, all right, take my chances with the putter. I'll take my chances with the putter. Nope. It's, a whole lot of top 10 finishes, a whole lot of near wins.
Yeah, a whole lot of money. You're making a whole lot of money, but yeah, you're not winning any titles. This is the part of the year where it gets fun, though. The Genesis is the start, and they go out to Florida, and that's when my man over here on the left of the screen, if you're watching on Warchant TV, really hits his stride. You and the Florida swing, you have some good numbers that you throw typically in the lead up to the Masters.
I do. It'll be fun. I'll throw that all out there. We'll have a good time. And I will say this. For the first time ever, am of the opinion they're really going to have to get a hold of themselves over there in Arizona. It's just, it makes for a wonderful collection of videos of people walking sideways into trees, falling off hills. I saw one that I posted yesterday with a woman slamming her head down on the side of a hill after slipping in the muck, which I'm sure was all of the inclement weather. All those things. That is a blast. That's fun, and that I don't want to see it go away. But you can't have what they have out there in Arizona anymore.
Okay, so I've got some stats on this in regards to the police department involvement in this particular tournament. So 2 years ago, there were 440 calls for service of any kind. This year, 653. 2 years ago, there were 0 arrests made. Last year, 18. This year, 54. I like that they're going by golf numbers, too. I like that they're doing that. So it should be 72 next year. Ejections, 2 years ago, 90. So 90 people. With the hundreds of thousands that show up, that tells you they're being pretty lenient. They understand what this event is. 211 this year. 211. And 73 trespassing violations this year, up from 14 2 years ago.
Well, you can't encourage the madness and then get worried about the madness. You've just told everybody have as much fun as you possibly can, and they did, and then things got loose and people started getting hurt, and there were fights on the golf course. Oh, it's the dudes trying to walking sideways that I get a kick out of. ESPN is 7.8 billion 6-year pact to broadcast 6 years of the 12-team college football playoff. That's the news that has been breaking this morning. For 1.3 billion, the average price of just one tournament, you might be able to buy the Pittsburgh Pirates. Same on, that's what you have. How much of the 7.8 billion will be paid to players? Yeah, right. The details of the deal for ESPN still coming out. Could choose to sub-license some of these games to other networks. According to Andrew Marchand, ESPN will have control of college sports championships outside of the men's NCAA basketball tournament, which is owned by CBS. College football playoff board still has a ton to figure out. Terms are set. The deal is still pending for approval from presidents and commissioners. That includes those, obviously, that will be most affected by this outside of the SEC and the Big Ten. So we'll have to wait and see.
This is fascinating to me because it does give ESPN a leg up on the competition when you're talking about, do they want concessions about the greater existence of the sport? Let's say the Big Ten and the SEC are getting together as they are, and they're trying to divide up the future of the sport. Well, the SEC has a bargaining chip at that very exclusive table because now ESPN can say, well, we don't have to give you a playoff game, but if you want one, your parent network, Fox, Big Ten, if they really want a playoff game, you better play nice with me on this particular topic. So ESPN did power play their way into a little bit of leverage. Then again, they could have the exclusivity that they're paying for at nearly $120 million a game, I think is what it breaks out to.
Is that what it broke down to? Yeah.
I saw the number on that last night. $118 million per game is what this is going to cost ESPN to broadcast if they don't sublet it at all, which is interesting because NBC and Peacock recently paid $110 million to the NFL for an NFL playoff game on Super Wildcard weekend.
Do you know that there is a growing momentum and belief with industry insiders that the Super Bowl will be behind a paywall at some point?
Yeah, I think so. They're willing to do that. It's almost like you're reverting back to pay-per-view. So we're all going back to cable and we're all going back to pay-per-view. They don't care that 50 people are going to be in a room because they're just going to jack the price up so crazy. It's all about the commercial inventory cost versus the direct-to-consumer cost. Once they figure that out and they can make the move, they will. That's why ESPN's going direct to consumer on its own independent of the thing we talked about last week, which is with all the networks getting together for linear television channels. It's all changing. In the next 5 years, the way we consume every major sporting event is going to be fundamentally different than we're doing right now.
So the college football playoffs current contract with ESPN is set to run through 2025, 2026. And obviously you have to have unanimous support for changes after a 4-person subcommittee recommended the new 12-team format in June of 2021. It took more than 2 years of stop and start negotiations amidst conference realignment to get the unanimous approval from the College Football Playoff Board of Managers, the group of presidents and chancellors who oversee the organization. The board originally approved a model that included the 6 highest-ranked conference champions and the 6 highest-ranked at-large teams. The impending departure of 10 teams from the Pac-12 has led to a push to tweak that model, which will be a 5+7 model. But the Board of Managers has not yet approved it as of right now. I do think, from what I've read, it seems as if that is going to happen, the 5+7 model, meaning the 5 conference champions and then the other the 7 highest ranked of the lesser conferences, I guess, is what they're looking at. So we'll see.
My number one hope is that what they have currently for playoff games and stadiums will remain forever.
Doesn't go away.
And they don't neutral site this thing top to bottom. Please don't. We want home games for the first round of the playoffs.
1 week from tomorrow, we'll be able to have the first set of probables on the Jeff Cameron Show. How about that? That will be, of course, for spring training baseball, but we do it there too, just because you never know when you got to see your guy. Are they stretching him out? What's going on? Good work out of you, Tommy. Great show today. A lot of fun. Good work out of you too as well, Matthew. Be well, everybody. Happy Balls McWednesday. Happy Valentine's Day if you celebrated. Be good. Talk to you tomorrow. Peace.